Hello there, everybody, and welcome to our 21-day magical self-care challenge, practice, experience, whatever you want to call it. It is live right now. We are kicking off. So welcome in. I am Sarah. I'm the founder of the Sisters Enchanted. And it is our mission here at the Sisters Enchanted to bring more intention, intuition, and everyday magic to the lives of people all around the world. And we do this through online classes, community, and we've been doing it since 2016. If you are new to us here, know that you're in good company. We have upwards of 10,000 folks in our programs and have delivered free classes just like this one to well over 100,000 people. So you are in with a pool of many magical beings here at the Sisters Enchanted, and we're excited to bring this to you. As I'm introducing myself, I'll also introduce Team TSE. TSE stands for the Sisters Enchanted. You might see them in the comments. I do see here Danielle Capri. She is our creative and product person on our team. She edits our podcast and all of the beautiful things that we put out in the world that you can hold in your hands. Anna is my co-founder, Anna Tower. She's my real life sister and the co-founder of the Sisters Enchanted. She's also an astrologer, and she oversees the student experience here at the Sisters Enchanted. We have Sarah Milne. She's our program director, astrology teacher, and you can see her just about everywhere. Christina Boos is our customer and student support sorceress, and she does all things video tech, email tech, payment tech. Christina is our go-to for that. Brandy Schaefer, she is my assistant. She's the executive assistant and marketing assistant here on Team Sisters Enchanted. Who am I missing? Is that all of us? I think I got us all. And of course, we've got tons of seasoned students, alum in our crowd. They'll often sign their name in the comments with Magic Mentor at the end if they've graduated our Holistic Witchery and Expedition Astrology programs. So lots of support here in the comments for you today. If I don't get to your question, don't see it or answer it right away, you've got a whole gaggle of magical people here in the comments to help you out. All right. So that's who we are. Again, we've been doing this since 2016. We have one main overarching kind of rule and guideline here at the Sisters Enchanted, and that is to lead with kindness. We do ask that you always lead with kindness. It is challenging sometimes to communicate digitally. Sometimes people say things they wouldn't say in person. And so we do hold that lead with kindness boundary very firmly in order to have the community that we do have. People come together who wouldn't normally come together in everyday life, in the real world, outside of the internet. And we're so happy to be able to facilitate this space where folks can come together and share space and ideas with people they wouldn't otherwise. But to do that, we need to lead with kindness. And we do hold that boundary, as I said, very firmly. So just know that. All right. As we get started here, this is day one of the free 21-day magical self-care challenge or practice, whatever you want to call it. You should have, if you signed up, have in your email the printable guide. I have mine bound together. The cover has fallen off from use, but you should have your printable guide that came in your email. You can print it or just use it on your digital device. You don't have to print it. We do have the book version, which is expanded upon. So there's extra information in here and extra web resources. The pre-order on this ends today and it starts shipping tomorrow. So if you'd love to have the book in your hand, make sure to grab the book for sure. And with the book, when you pre-order today, there's a course that comes with it and you'll get access to that for free. If you pre-order 10 books and give them as gifts or donate them to women in transition, then you are invited to join us at a live event in Salem, Massachusetts on August 4th. And your ticket to that will be on the house if you do us the solid of pre-ordering 10 books. So that ends today. You don't have to get the book. You totally don't have to. You can use your free guide. That said, the book is a great addition, and the pre-order ends today on that. All right, now that that's out of the way, 21-day magical self-care. I want you to take just a breath for a minute, which I also need to take after all of that talking. Take a breath and think to yourself, what is one thing in your life that you would like to have change? What is a goal or an intention around changing something in your life? You don't have to share it, though you can share it if you'd like to. But what is one thing in your life that you'd like to have change? It could be small. It could be big. Small things often lead to big things. So if you're not sure, it can be something totally small. And yeah, think about that right now. What's one thing that you could change? With that in mind, I invite you to step into this 21-day self-care challenge with that staying in mind. I want you to keep it top of mind, this thing you'd like to change. And what does that have to do with self-care? Well, something that you'd like to have in your life, there's a reason probably that you haven't chased it down already, made space for it. And we can do that through self-care. Through the tools in this free challenge that you are embarking on, you can create space for the thing that you want in your life. I see already in the comments, clean house, more physical energy, outgoing. Many of these things, whether they're things about ourselves, like personality, they're things we want to have around us on the outside. By understanding our own boundaries, by understanding the barriers that we have to what we want, whether it is internal barriers or their external barriers, things that feel really hard to push away and get past. All of that is addressed in this challenge that we are starting right now. It's all addressed in this challenge we're starting right now. This challenge is baked in with so many tools. Some of them you might think, what does this really have to do with self-care? Well, whatever we want in our life, the things that we want, the intentions we have, the way we want to feel, to get to those, we need to care for ourselves. Because if we don't care for ourselves and we just work ourselves ragged trying to create the life that we want, we're going to feel really resentful along the way and not be able to enjoy it. Or we might not get it because we haven't cared for ourselves to become the person we need to become to have that thing in our life. I know this to be true in my own life. It wasn't probably 12 years ago or so. I was working several jobs, just trying to get by, tackling credit card debt, loads of it. And from then until now, I run a very successful company. I homeschool my kids. I have time and location freedom to travel. And that's all because I set one goal and then worked on the things I needed to work on to get there, one thing at a time. So I know that this stuff works. I also know that it's not easy. It's not easy if you have a spouse who's not on the same page as you. It's not easy if you have financial things that you just can't seem to get out from under. I know all of this because I have been there and I still experience these things to this day. But it's the tools in this self-care practice that help you to identify these things for what they are and not something about you that you've caused or some bad negative trait about you that makes you less worthy than other people. It's seeing all of these things and using the tools in the self-care challenge that will help you to break it all down little by little and get to where you want to go. And along the way, help you create a life with loads of self-care built into it so that when the hard stuff pops up, because it pops up for all of us, that it's just built into our life. It's built into our daily rituals, our weekly rituals, our seasonal rituals. It's all built in there. And these tools are in this self-care practice. If you feel like you're a person who doesn't have time for anything, you don't have any support, you get really overwhelmed, you don't know up from down, you've never felt worthy of these things, or like other people know something that you don't, this is the perfect place for you to be. If you lean into the community support in the daily threads that we have in the Facebook group, we are there to support you, and you'll find that so many people in the group, in this community, can relate to exactly where you are right now, and you're not alone. And knowing that little bit of information, that you are not alone and that other people are experiencing this, in my experience with this community, is enough to empower you to just keep going for another day and keep putting one foot in front of the other. So here's how this challenge works. It's 21 days, but you have the printable guide. So you can do it, you can expand it out. And if you want to do it forever and always, that's totally up to you. However, during this 21-day container, we do have a Facebook group. You don't have to join it. But if you do join it, there will be a thread every day in the Facebook group where you can share for that day. At the end of the 21 days, so we're going to get through all 21 days in case people join late or just need some catch-up time. At the end of the 21 days, we're going to go through all of those threads and we're going to pick a prize winner from each thread to win something cool. So there's 21 opportunities to win a prize. We'll do those all at the end. So you can come back through and catch up if you fall a little bit behind. No pressure there. So each day there's a thread for 21 days. We have live videos scheduled intermittently throughout the 21 days. They're not every day. That would be too much for all of you. It would just be really overwhelming. If you do want daily audio video support, on the page where you downloaded your guide, there is a link to a podcast feed. So that's free for you also. You click that link and it will give you a prompt to choose your feed. And then you can listen each day for 21 days to the accompanying, I can say that word, to the audio that goes along with each day of the challenge. Okay, so if you want to do that, you can certainly listen in each day for 21 days. I will say in advance, when it comes to the last 7 days, definitely check in on the last 7 days of audio because I expand upon the 7-day, the last 7-day entries for you in the guide. So you'll want to check that out. Okay, so that's how this works. There's live streams. There is the daily threads. There's the audio for you. There is also a graphic that you can screenshot and tick off all of the days as you do them and put them on your phone and share them with us on social media. All right, so now that you've chosen your one goal or intention, let's talk a little bit about what you're gonna learn between now and the time we meet again for a live stream. Our next live stream is going to be on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and of course, you can always catch the replay. So with your one goal or intention in mind, over the next few days, and today being your first day, we're going to talk about barriers to self-care. We're going to talk about boundaries, chaos, and the future. Barriers we look at as the things standing between where we are and where we want to be. And often we externalize them. We say that they're other people, it's because of your job or because of a partner or some issue in society. And all of those things can be true. They can all be very true. And at the same time that those are true, it can also be true that you haven't discovered the piece about yourself yet that's ready to conquer that barrier, right? That can be true too. So to every barrier that there is in the world around us, and there's very real barriers out there for each of us in different ways, we have to figure out how to take it down. Whether it's brick by brick or with a wrecking ball, we have to figure out how to take that barrier down and identify what it is, and also identify our relationship to it. Because often we might see a barrier and say, well, I just can't because of this. But that barrier can also become our own little safety blanket that keeps us from doing something that feels really hard or that we might be afraid to do because somebody might watch us fail. I see this a lot with other folks who want to start an online business, or I homeschool my kids who might want to do that, or they ask me about it. And this is just my personal life example, but folks will say, oh, I can't do it because I don't know technology, or I can't do it because there's no way I could teach my kid math. Well, those might feel very true. Like you don't know technology and you don't know how to teach math, but they're all also solvable problems. They're also barriers you can easily get past. So we want to look at those barriers and say, this is a true barrier, but how do I get past it if that's really my goal? So whatever your goal is, identifying the barriers and then starting to break them down. That's day one. Tomorrow, you're going to talk about boundaries. And that's a great day because we really aren't taught how to set boundaries. If you think about it, we're really taught to follow directions, stand in line, don't speak unless you're spoken to as kids, all of these things that we're taught we must do. None of them involve setting firm boundaries, telling people no, like kindly and firmly, or understanding that no is a complete sentence. I don't know who said that first, but that's no is a complete sentence. Understanding that boundaries are just as much for protecting what's inside yourself as what's on the outside. Because the example we use in the guide is of a garden. You set up a fence to protect the vegetables or the food inside of a garden, so the animals won't eat it, but that food can also feed the animals. So it can feed the humans that are growing it and feed the animals. But the animals don't know that, and they'll go in there and eat it all before it can grow and help anybody. And that's just like you. You need to set boundaries to care for yourself so that you can then contribute to the world. You can then care for other people. But it starts with boundaries. And that's a big one for so many people and I struggle with this as well. I am a recovering people pleaser and overachiever to the max, and I will do everything for everybody until I'm miserable and will not ask for help, and then will blame everybody else for not offering help. Well, in the past, I still do this sometimes, but I'm well aware of it now and can really stop myself when it's starting. And remember, just set my boundaries and say, this actually isn't my job, or there are 10 other people that I know that can do this job and it doesn't have to be me. But that took time and practice, right? So that's your day number 2. The third day is chaos. And I often get questions about this, so I'm just going to answer it right now. And it is expanded upon in the book version. Remember, you can purchase the book version through today on pre-order. The chaos times for people, when you get to this portion of 21 Day Self-Care Challenge, I often hear from people who say their life's not chaotic, that their problem's the opposite. They have lots of time on their hands. And they just aren't motivated, or they feel like they sleep the day away, or it's 5 o'clock and they didn't do anything. I would argue that that point of chaos and that example is when you start to get down on yourself about that. When you start to have that mind chaos or mind garbage, mind trash start to come up that says, look how bad I suck. I did this thing again, or I didn't do the thing. I didn't do the to-do list and there was no reason why. I just got stuck on Netflix or my phone all day again today. When that mind trash creeps in, that's a chaos moment. So when you get to chaos, the reason we identify those moments is because in those chaos times, we lose sight of all of the things we've set in place. We lose sight of our goal, our intention. We lose sight of our barrier. We lose sight of our boundary and just get lost in the mind trash that comes up or in the chaos of the moment. So identifying what that is for you can help you set up for success to move through it. The fourth day, on Thursday, before we meet again Friday, is about the future. So just considering your future self. What do you want based on everything you've learned so far? So that's what you are going to do. That's what I'm leaving you with after today. Remember, you have the guide, you have the audio resources, and you have the threads in the group for us to support you through. You might be wondering, like, Sarah, what does this have to do with everything else you talk about here at the Sisters Enchanted? So if you're new here, we teach a program called Holistic Witchery. We teach an astrology program, a really super awesome and unique tarot program, all of these things. And what does this have to do with that? Well, when we don't care for ourselves, for one, I see so many folks who will come online, they'll email us, message us looking for the next tarot spread, or just really wanting like a tarot reader to answer a question for them. Or if only astrology could tell me why I'm like this way, or why I'm like this. If astrology could tell me why my spouse or my partner is this way. What's going on in the universe to explain this thing? What candle can I do? What ritual can I do? And really, at the end of the day, everything is unique to you. And when you start to understand your own barriers, your own boundary setting abilities or lack thereof, what feels like chaos to you, all of these other things, all of these tools like tarot, like candles, like crystals, the moon and astrology, all of these tools support us in whatever our energy is. And if your energy is that of, please, somebody hear me and help me solve this problem because I'm desperate, that's all the tools are going to do, help you with that, like more desperation. So we want to use tarot when we're very clear on our goals and intentions. We want to use crystals when we're very clear on the boundaries we're setting, on the why having this, why we don't have it yet, like the thing that we want. What was the barrier that we have yet to take down? Understanding that about ourselves, that's when these tools can really propel us forward. All of the magical tools are enhancing you. And if you aren't clear on what you want, if you aren't clear on what your barriers are and how you are probably your own biggest barrier, we all are, not just you, me too. When we're not clear on boundaries, clear on any of these things, what we want for the future, why we don't already have the thing. When we're not clear on any of that, our tools can't help us. They can't help us gain clarity. They'll give us maybe a moment of thought, but it's not sustainable. We have to do the work inside first, and then we use the tools to project that outward. So self-care is, foundation work here. We've got to care for ourselves and understand what that looks like. And it's more than just the Saturday, like wine and chocolates and bathtub, what we might say self-care is. That can all be fun and lovely. We should all have our own version of that in our life. But self-care is also understanding how to earn more money. Self-care is being able to advocate for yourself. Self-care is knowing how to make a schedule for the week ahead so that self-care is just in the schedule. And it's not something that, you put everything else on hold because you need to escape from your crazy life. That's all self-care. And when you create your life out of that kind of self-care is just built into your life. You no longer have to go looking for it. And then we can layer on all the fun magic stuff that we love and enhance these feelings and move forward. But self-care is at the basis of that. After this self-care class is complete in 21 days, this free challenge, we will host our 5-day free Expedition to Soul class in April. And that will just enhance this even more. We'll dive into your journey ahead, being your own best friend, shadow work and your moon sign, all sorts of good stuff in Expedition to Soul. And that's our free class that we'll have in April. But this is all the precursor to that. It's all the bits and pieces and odds and ends to start to tie together to harness your own self and even identify yourself again. So many of us, whatever your age and stage is in life, whether you are a mom of young kids, you're a mom of grown kids, you're not a mom. Maybe you chose not to have children. Maybe you wanted children and you didn't have children, even though you tried the most hardest thing you've ever done in your life was trying and it didn't pan out. Wherever you are on the spectrum of people here watching this right now, somewhere along the way, whether it's jobs, families, whatever, we start to wear all of these hats. And when we put on all of these hats, we start to lose who we are without those hats. And taking those hats off and identifying and really digging into who am I? What do I like? What are my goals? What are my intentions? What does my self-care look like? Where have I just said, I don't know how to do this, so I can't do it? Where maybe I could learn, or I probably could learn and feel really great about this. Uncovering yourself again, all part of this self-care practice. So there you go. You have your 21 days there. If you feel overwhelmed, if you feel stuck throughout the time, you can always reply to any of our emails, and the lovely Christina will let you know what day you were on, any catch-up things. The best place to reach us, if you are a Facebook user, is the Expedition to Soul Facebook group. You can tag us in the threads each day. We do have the group set up so you can only comment on threads that we post. The reason for that is because we do teach so many classes, and with just the amount of people who register for the free classes, in order for us to best serve, we've got to keep the comments confined to threads or else we lose them. And we can't serve the students in our programs as well. So we got to put them in the threads, but you can always tag us in a thread and we can help there too. So let's see here. What else do I have? Another tip for you to go in, if you use a digital calendar or reminders on your phone for the next 21 days, give yourself a daily reminder to go off and remind you to do that day's activity. Having those technology reminders is very, very helpful. We hear from so many people who just have a very busy life or who maybe have executive functioning things that make it hard to keep up. I can relate to that also. Reminders on a cell phone, best thing since sliced bread. That's what keeps me spinning. It's literally, if my phone's not giving me a reminder, it's not happening. So put those reminders in, put them on a time, or on a digital calendar and let it remind you to do your check-in. If you're feeling overwhelmed or like you might fall behind, go ahead and put it in there. All right, let's see. I see that we've got some links to register for Expedition to Seoul already up here if you want to do that. And I don't think I saw any other questions at the moment. I know Christina's putting in the email down here. Let's see. Some people, it doesn't always show me your names, the software I'm using, but I do see one person sharing, hardest since my mom and husband died and my kids became adults. That is women in transition. There are so many women in our community who can relate, who are in spaces who previously had very full lives, and suddenly they find themselves with so much more space that does not feel welcoming. This is a great place to start for that. And also, again, so many people in this community can relate to that. For the giveaways, there will be a thread come up each day over the 21 days. The first one's going to come up after this live video, and you just go in the group and look for like day 1, day 2, day 3 as those come up. The audio should be on the class delivery page. Let me see if I can't. Yep, I'm looking at it right now. It says subscribe to the audio feed. Let me see if I can share my screen. Share screen. And, oh, Chrome tab. Oh, that's a lovely, this one. Okay, share. There you go. Here is the page. So after you registered for the free class, you got this page, and you'll see the link here for the printable guide, the audio feed. And then if you'd like the book, you can pre-order it through today. And then this graphic here, you can just download it to your phone, save it as an image or screenshot it. And you can check off each day of the 21 days and share it on social if you'd like, or just as an extra sort of accountability tool for you. So that would have been in your welcome email after you registered, the link to that. Let's see. I subscribed, but I can't find it after that using Apple Podcasts. Well, you could, reach out to us, customer service, just reply to any of the emails. But it should show up in your podcast feed. Like it should come up just on there as a podcast that you're subscribed to. You might have to close the app window and open it again. Let me see if I can't find it on mine to show you what it looks like here. It looks like, oh gosh, it's going to start playing a bit. If you can see, it looks like this. So 21-day magical self-care practice with the Sisters Enchanted. You might try searching that, but maybe getting out of the app, going back in, or email Christina and she might be able to help you with that tech stuff on the fly. Because I've not had that happen. So I can't specifically figure out how to answer that for you. Let's see here. All right. You totally don't need the book for this. The book is, just an extra expanded thing here. I will let you know the reason that we published this book, and we actually are going to have more coming out too. We love to host free classes here at the Sisters Enchanted. But for each person who registers, it costs us about $5 a person to host the free class. So the book is a really great way. When you buy the book, it helps people, if they're searching for similar things, to find it online and get the word out there about us. And that just really helps us to keep spreading the word about the Sisters Enchanted. So that's why we have the book version. You don't have to buy it though. Totally do the free class. We love hosting them for people because we know how life-changing they are. We literally get emails, or I get letters in the mail from people weekly telling us that something we did changed their life. So that's why we do the free classes. We're here for it, and we're here for you. Let's see here. So that was a question. I think we saw another question about the Salem event. So currently we are only planning to invite people who bought the 10 books to the Salem event. If we release tickets outside of 10 pre-orders, we won't release them probably until like June-ish. So I don't have a ticket price for you at the moment because it's not currently the intention to have them separate. Currently with the 10 books there. All right. Let's see. Any questions I can help anybody with? I like to keep these to a half an hour because you already have things to do. You have your page to do, your activity, the audio if you want to listen to it, and you got to go reply on the thread. But But I think that is it. Housekeeping, remember, we'll pick all of the prize winners at the end of the 21 days to give people time to come back through, and people who might join a little bit later to participate in the threads. They'll be in the group. If you are missing emails, check your spam folder. Please check your spam folder. The emails, they get sent. If you put in your email address without a typo, it gets sent. It often lands in spam, promotions, or the next thing that happens is that there was a typo in the email address. If you don't find it in the spam by searching the Sisters Enchanted, the spam, in the spam folder, in your can of spam, just then email us and we'll help sort you out here. Let's see. Will the link work after the live video? That you can watch this back on a replay after this live video, and any links in the comments should all work. Let's see here. Thank y'all. Yeah, and we did put the waitlist link. I'm sorry. I am speaking like a crazy. I cannot speak. I'm having a back issue and I'm on lots of medication at the moment. And I think it's showing with my ability to speak a clear thought. The Holistic Witchery waitlist, if you would like to join that, there are some early registration incentives there too. Let's see. All right, cool. Click my library tab for there you go. That's where I found mine in Apple Podcasts. See, I should have thought to share that very specific term. Okay, I'm going to leave you with one quick roundup. Think of a goal or intention, something you'd like to make progress on, have a step toward at the end of this 21 days. Write it down. A goal is something tangible, quantifiable. You can check it off a list. Like you could say, I will go for 5 walks, right? You can say, yes, I did, or no, I didn't. It's easy to tell. That's a goal. And intention is feelings based. I want to feel confident. I want to feel rested. I want to feel cared for. I want to feel supported. I want to feel successful. I want to feel healthy. Those are all intentions. So choose a goal or an intention. I suggest you write it down, and I want you to carry it with you through the 21 days and have that be sort of your lamp post for the activities that you do, your guiding light, your lighthouse. Look to that goal or intention for each of the activities and sort of apply it to that. Like when you get to the chaos day, what distracts you from remembering that's your goal or your intention? When you get to the barriers, the future, later on in days like 5, 6, you'll talk about time and understanding your relationship to time. Think of this thing, the goal or intention, and how can you build self-care in a way that's going to support you in getting that goal or intention achieved or realized, and use that as your guiding light through all of the examples and exercises that you're doing. So one goal, intention. Go to the class page, Facebook group. If you are into that, you can participate on the threads, and the audio feed. Totally recommend. That's a free thing you can click, and it goes onto a podcast player on your phone. The last 7 days in particular have expanded information for the 7 days. So if you're an audio person who really likes to absorb things through audio, listen to those. Our next live stream is on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time with a replay available right after. All right, we did it. Give yourself a round of a hand for being here, signing up, declaring it's your time for some self-care. And I think that's a wrap on this part of day 1. So I can't wait to scroll through the shares after we get that thread up and support you all and cheer you on along the way. Let's do this. Let's get it done. Pre-order the book if you want. And Holistic Witchery waitlist. We'll see you throughout the week around social media and on Friday for our next live stream. All right. High five. Onward. Have a great magical day ahead. Thank you all for being here. You're the best. And I'll see you around. Bye.